All right. Hello. Oh, I should make sure I have the comments open. Oh my goodness, yay, we already have somebody watching. Yay. Okay. This is one of my testimonials. Usually I used to do these on Facebook, but I figured since most of y'all access me on YouTube, we do it here on YouTube. So, yeah. Today I am having one of my wonderful clients on with me, and we're just going to chat and talk about their experience inside my program. So, why don't you introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Maria. I use she, they pronouns. Cassie doesn't want to say my name.
I still pronounce the R like a French R, and it's not a French R, and I keep failing.
The number of legitimately the only thing I care about is that it's not Maria, and I can recognize it as my name.
Okay. So. I want the record to show
my ability to introduce myself.
All right, let me give up my questions.
Do you want my background? Is this part of the questions?
You're way ahead of me. Okay. Here we go. It's been so long since I've done one of these. It's 2023 has been bonkers. Yay. Oh, hey, Sam. It's good to see you. Okay, so first question is just a general, like, who are you and what do you do? So just a little bit about your background and what you do in life.
Yeah, so background, I don't know how far back to go, so we'll skip that for now. But I'm a graduate student doing a PhD in math. When I found you, I thought I had probably like generalized anxiety, and since I have just found out that it's like not that, and it's just like really intense performance anxiety and possibly perfectionism. So thank you for helping fix that a little bit, at least. We're on the journey. And probably a lot of that perfectionism and anxiety stems from being the child of immigrants into the United States when I was like 2.5. So a lot of like, we got to do the thing and work ethic. And I've like developed an understanding of my emotions and how they impact things, but that has very much like not been the thing that I was as aware of before starting working with you.
Yeah. So that like leads me to the second question, which you already partially answered. You're so sneaky. But like, what specifically were those challenges you were facing that made you want to work with me?
So, I guess I'll start with like how I found you as well, because I was doing an internship. It was like a really cool internship, very impactful, cool way to see what's outside of graduate school, since the kind of math I do is considered pure, i.e. there aren't really applications. So you're not working with like forest fire modeling or something. You're creating mathematics that somebody later will use to do something else, and that's not you. So I'm doing this internship at the same time my advisor is like pregnant and due any day, at which point I no longer have access to her. And so we're trying to get a paper written at the same time that I'm doing this internship. I'm away from home. I don't have my support network, even if everyone is really nice, but I don't have my support network that I am used to. And I started just kind of having a really, really, really tough time. And I have always been like a productivity geek. Like since I was maybe like 14, I was homeschooled. So I'd like sit down and I would like write out my schedule and figure out how to like compress 5 days of schoolwork into 3 and how to like, so that level. And so I followed Cal Newport, and there was this point where I was just like, Cal Newport is like really helpful, but like I can't do the things. And I had been starting to figure out that maybe I have anxiety. So I like Google Cal Newport anxiety and ended up on your really wonderful rant about.
Yeah, on occasion he's like super wrong about stuff.
On
like, occasion, in general, I like his stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like I still listen to his podcast, and I'm still a big like proponent of his methods. We talk about him in the Discord and like share some of his advice, and like I can definitely say I'm a big fan of Cal Newport. I plan to read everything he comes out with. But that's only helpful once you have a contextualization of how to change what he says for you. And I'm very much a rule follower. So like if somebody says it this way, I'm like, that must be the way it works. And it's very difficult for me to then like modify. So I found your rant, and I found the blog first, so it wasn't even the video. And so I'm like reading through, I'm like, I like what this person's saying. And then I found like that it was the like New Year's course or whatever. And the guy I was interning under had like left for 2 weeks. So I was like, this is the time to finish the paper. He was coming back. I was like, I have nothing done. And I'm like almost hyperventilating, panicking, and like nothing's working. And I find this like New Year's course that you have that's like free. And you were like, meeting your potential is ableist. And I was like, where have you been all that long? Like, holy crap. So I like watched the whole thing from like Friday to Saturday, basically. Watched all of these stories to motivate neurodivergent spoonies. At one point, you were like, anxiety falls under the neurodivergent umbrella. And I was just like, what? What? Like you call them doozies in our client calls, so like big group calls. And I was not warned for the number of doozies, because I think some of them are not meant to be doozies.
I know. Every once in a while, I've said it before I realize, like, oh, that was a doozy. I should have given y'all a warning first.
So like, there were some of the doozy warnings, but others were just like, one, I have never met such like a calming voice and presence,
Thank you.
except in like nuns. Because
give me the hat.
Something.
Bring it on. I'm joking.
That's like something. I grew up in a religious household, so I'd go to camp, and it would be a religious camp, and we'd meet nuns or like monks or whatever, and like they're just like the people where you're just like nothing can go wrong because I'm next to you. Came through the computer screen. So then I like call my husband, and I'm like, I found this person, and like, have you heard of turtle bites? And like all of this stuff. And I am not kidding, Cassie. It got me through possibly one of the most stressful weeks of my life, where I had done this all to myself, but I like had of like the amping it up, and I have to meet all of these expectations, and I have to do all of this stuff. And the turtle bites, it was like sunshine. Like, I only did 10 minutes over the weekend, but that 10 minutes calmed me down enough that I could sleep on Sunday night and then go into Monday morning and like address the situation I had created for myself. So that's when like the idea started percolating, and I called my husband, and I was like, I want to schedule a call, but like maybe after I get home. And he's like, or you could schedule it before you come home, because this is like right at the end of the internship. And then like 2 days before, I was like, what if I'm not broken enough for Cassie to take me off? So you did, and it worked.
Why don't you talk a little bit about that? Because you're not the only person who got super anxious to talk to me or my assistant on Zoom, and like what that experience was actually like compared to what your anxious expectations were.
It was a freaking party. We talked for like, I think I don't remember how long the coaching call is supposed to be, but I came off of it after like we had gone over time, because all of three of us were like having a riot. Like, when I had planned out how I was going to not sound crazy in this call. And what's the purpose of this call, right? So the purpose of this call is for you to make sure that we are not going to destroy the wonderful community you have built. So it's like, I don't know. It's a very safe space for like, you have like a disclaimer thing that we have to check of like, these are the things you believe in, and if you disagree with them, it's not a good fit. So like, it was basically just that. And I was like, this all sounds great. I want to learn more about some of these, but like, this all sounds great. Let's be nice human beings to each other and not, yeah. So how it was basically I like came in, Shay was there, which I was not expecting. I was just like, wait, more people. Is this like a group testing call? And then you were like, no, Shay is my assistant. And I was like, okay, got it. I have to impress 2 people. But then like within like 2 minutes,
secretly the same person.
jokes, and I was cracking jokes nervously, and then like, but that's my like coping mechanism. And I think by the end, like I felt like I had found new potential best friends, which I can say has like continued with like everybody I've met in the Discord community. So like there's some folks that don't talk as much. There's some folks that I know because there were the people filmed through the original like workshop calls. And so I feel like, oh, I know so and so and I know this person, and like even though I've never actually talked to them or met them. So but if they were to come in, or like if I were to ask them a question or whatever, like it's very much a community, and there's folks in there where I work with them almost every day because we're just all sort of in the same group going along at a similar stage. And so I don't even know how many people there are, but it feels like there's like 10 to 15. It's a really small group of like active people. Yeah.
It's
and
a
like,
really cool rolling cohort feel. So I don't have to organize cohorts. It just kind of happens with the lifetime access and the speed at which new students join. So it still feels small and tight knit. So it's less overwhelming. But it is technically like a large community. It's just who's active at any given time.
Yeah.
I wanted to just say hi to everybody in the chat so far. I'm seeing your chats. It's so good to see you. I've had a rough year trying to get a surgery, and there will be videos coming out within the next month or two about what has been going on. But I've been spending most of my spoons running this program instead of working to market it. But that's why we're here. And I'm so glad.
I feel like you have very low spoons. Like you bring your whole self to every interaction. And even when you're just like, I'm exhausted, we're all just like, okay, sending love. Like you have had to cancel, I think, like 1 or 2 things in the past 3, 4 months.
Yeah.
Right. But it's always just like we all get it, because the very like undergirdle of the whole thing is society's expectations are bogus. And like I'm able-bodied, but like even the expectations I had of myself before realizing how problematic those are were superhuman. Like I bring it up in coaching calls all. I'm like, back when I was superhuman, I could like do all of these things, and now I'm realizing that I can't, because that's what's causing my anxiety. So like it's such a friendly, wonderful place. And also, like, as an able-bodied person, it allows me to see what other people are going through, and thus because I'm a graduate student, but I also teach. So it like really brings home the reality of what some people go through without it ever being apparent outside. And I think has made me a better teacher, because like, you know, if a student comes up to me and is like, I have this problem, I'm like, of course you can have whatever you need, as far as like somebody else isn't tying my hands. But now I'm much more proactive about being like, if you need X, this is what I need from you. Like, check the box rather than writing me a paragraph type of a thing.
Right.
So it helps me make the spaces around me more accessible. Helps me understand my husband better, who like, as a result of a lot of this, have been like, you are neurodivergent. This is ADHD. Please. So like, I think I can blame that on you too. He's getting a diagnosis maybe soon. So like,
oh wow, that's exciting. But yeah, once you identify your own neurodivergence, it starts to feel like you're Oprah and be like, you're neurodivergent, you're neurodivergent, you're neurodivergent, because we tend to enjoy each other's company. So we tend to become friend groups, for example.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So in case anybody who's here live is not very familiar with my course, the Action Navigator, I'm going to do the short spiel, and then I'm going to ask you, Maria, what your expectations of it were going in and what it actually ended up being for you. So the program itself has 3 pillars. One is the course itself, which feels like the amount of information you get in a 10-week college course. So it's a beefy course. Then there's the ongoing group coaching calls, which happen weekly with me. And it's a lifetime access program. So until, heaven forbid, something happens to me or I retire, basically, that's what lifetime access means. And then there's the private Discord community, which Maria has been talking about. And in the course, I'm essentially teaching people how to create this toolbox of skills and techniques to help you master the moment so you can spend your precious time and energy the way you want and or need to. And that's the bulk of the program. Like, how do I get myself from where I'm sitting to the bathroom so I can brush my teeth, for example? Or how do I get myself from lying in bed to my desk so I can work on work or homework, for example? And then the very end of the program, it's how to extrapolate those tools and skills to the larger framework of your life to set larger goals or decide what do you even want in this life. So you don't need to know what you want to work with me. But that's like what the Action Navigator is. So now I'm going to turn it over to you, Maria. So what were your expectations and what did you end up getting?
Been trying to time travel while you were giving the spiel. So I had watched like all the stories and kind of went through a sizable chunk of your YouTube channel. And so had like sort of seen what other people's experiences were through that, and just kind of getting a vibe for how you make the YouTube videos, therefore. And that like January boot camp Muse Muscles workshop thing was also very much more like how the workshopping calls are, where it's much more intimate of a setting. So I feel like I had things other people have said, or like I wasn't expecting how helpful the community would be, but like I've been in communities before and administrated them where like we are offering very different kind of help, but it's still a helpful community. So I was expecting that helpfulness level. And like it's fantastic, but like I was expecting it to be fantastic because of how good all the other free stuff was. So like I can't be like it was superlative because I was expecting it to be superlative. In terms of, so that was the Discord pillar. In terms of like the course material, it's definitely a lot of material. It was, and like I'm a person that most of my anxiety comes from planning out the future and like knowing exactly what I want to do and then not being able to accomplish it in the moment. So like the latter half of the course of like goal setting and stuff was still extremely helpful because by then you've built up the tools to actually be a kind human being to yourself and not start doing something just because you should do it, but instead like you can get to. Also, I'm a graduate student. I'm graduating soon. My thesis has to get written whether I want to or not. And I've known for a while that I want to complete graduate school. So like that's my big goal. I didn't need that part, but like the actual, what does it mean when I am avoiding work for like 6 hours? No, it's not that I'm lazy. No, it's not that I don't care about this. It's not that, like, when I first watched the video about, like, the Swiss Alps, I, like, didn't fully get it. I was like, this is really cool, but, like, what does this mean? But then going through over the past, like, 4, however many, it's been forever, going through the course later and, like, being able to have a day like today or yesterday where I like had a relatively rough day and be able to like look back and be like, this was a scary task and I did not give myself enough support to meet that scary task. And being able to look at it and just be like, cool, I'm human. Like, just be like, no, I'll get it later. I have been trying, I kid you not, I have been trying to get to that point of, today was a rough day. I'm human. Tomorrow will be better. I have been trying to do that since I started college. So like for 8 years, every semester, at the end of every semester, I'm like, this could have been better. This could have... And I make bigger plans for the semester after, or like fewer plans, but like the overachiever perfectionist is always there. And I was not expecting that to quiet, and it did. And it's also, so like I'm also like a very systems minded person. I love being able to build, you know, this because you've seen mine.
It makes me so happy. It's so nerdy and I love it.
It's an incredibly complex system. So like module 3 is building your system, and I am a person that like every 6 months starts a new thing. Kanban boards, there used to be like this big thing in the tech industry of like that one text edit files thing that you just like, you know, all that's the other thing that I love is like I can just list these stuff and you're like, that exists, you know what it is. Most things that I have seen are just like, oh, that would be really helpful for me, and I'm like, no, I've tried them all. And not just like this planner will fix it, because I don't do well with planners, but here is the philosophy of how to think about your work in a different way. And that's not here. This is like, oh, here was the thing that like the language that was most helpful for me, and like, this is what I want. It was, this is a course that will help you build the self-trust in yourself to accomplish what it is you need. And I had lost that over the course of graduate school. And possibly college. And it is the course that gives you the tools to pick the tools that you want in your life. So I have made an incredibly complex system with like, to like track all of my tasks and all of my projects. And there will be stuff like, grade this problem set, and there will be a hyperlink to a page that like takes me to a list of things that need to be done for that problem set. And then the other thing is like, I want to finish the Action Navigator course because I've been wanting to rewatch it all in preparation for like this basic overachiever. Is this required? No. Like I wanted to make sure that I had like done all of the pieces and thought them through and graduated myself through it, because it's all at your own pace. That links to a thing. And then I have this like incredibly complex, beautiful, wonderful check-in process that takes me through all of the things that I know but can't remember when I'm stressed or when everything is going well. And it calls me on my nonsense. And it's like, no, but is this good for you? Like, are you expecting the right amount of stuff? And that is, so like, even with all of the complexity of this system, it doesn't feel like something I have to maintain, because baked into the system is, this is temporary insofar as I can change it to be whatever I need now, which doesn't exist in anybody else's systems. No other coaching, no other like productivity, even Cal Newport, bless him, like legitimately, he has helped me so much, is like, this is the way to do it. And then he'll like have a call and somebody's like, I'm struggling with like, I'm so lazy and like I want to do all of these things, and he'll be like, okay, so clearly you're on social media too much. And I'm like, why is that your assumption?
I hate
like,
that stuff.
whereas you would be like, okay, So walk me through what you would like your day to look like and walk me through what's actually happening. And you will take us step by step through like that. And at the end, yeah, it's just, and sometimes it's, okay, are you spending too much time on social media? Do you want to be spending less time? Okay, here's what we can do. But everything's morally neutral. Which also, like, why is everything morally neutral? Why didn't anybody tell me this?
Because most of our cultures and societies are we apply morals to so many things culturally, and unlearning that socialization can be so empowering.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's like, how to put, the course is exactly what it says on the tin. The impact is like a Jack in the Box. Like, maybe this is the shirt. Like,
Oh, that's funny. So, since we have such a wonderful community, I've been collecting like hilarious phrases that we've all been saying, and we'll hopefully be coming out with like T-shirts with them on, and saving some of the profits from that for like a nest egg for emergencies for those of us in the community. Because like I know financially this work is supporting me, but I would love to somehow also support those who are more in need inside my community, which is why I offer a sliding scale. But yeah, the shirt phrases are great.
yeah. Well, so like the course is exactly what's described. The impact is so different because there is not anything like this out there. Like, because I considered this, I was like, okay, so Cassie has all of these like Martha Beck books recommended and like all of this other stuff, and I was finally like, yeah, okay, but I should probably see what this is like, because that's going to be more support than a book. And those books are still in my reading list, but it's, humans need community, and having a community like this one where you can come in and be like, I haven't showered in like a week, and this is the thing that I need to do the most, and I've just had an absolutely awful travel day, and the only thing I can do for the next, like, my goal today is to lie in bed. And everybody's like, you've got this. I'm so sorry you have to lay in bed all day, but like, or the live co-working that we do, or just, I don't know. Yeah, the impact is something that you can't predict. In the sense that you can be like, oh, this will make my life better, this will be great, but you until you've gone through at least a part of it, you can't realize how helpful it's going to be. Yeah, and there's no judgment whatsoever.
Someone just asked, very helpful question. So you can learn about the sliding scale on the website, and I can also drop the slide scale PDF in the chat as well. And there isn't any way that you have to prove which tier you fall into. It's kind of a negotiation of what is financially safe for you to offer to support me. And like I've had some people join for literally $2 because that's all they had. And I've had others join instantly at the high $1,500 tier. So, and it's a lifetime access program. So this is not like a monthly price. It's just those 4 tiers that are shared in those documents. And at the 1,500, 1,000, and 500, there are also 3-month payment plans available for those. But the pay what you can is just what you can all at once. And then for those, because a lot of people are like, I can only pay this much now, but I want to be able to support you more in the future. That's why I have my tip jar, which I'll also drop in the chat. Yeah, I understand, Chris. That's why the tip jar exists. So I was one of those people back when I was struggling the most. I had no money. I was completely financially dependent on my mom, and then later my partner. And I desperately needed help, but counseling, therapy wasn't doing the trick. I couldn't afford life coaching. The thing I needed, even if it existed, there was a financial barrier. So I never want to have a financial barrier to prevent someone from getting the help from me that they need. So that's why I offer the pay what you can tier, because that's really important to me, that people get the help. The help is more important. Yeah. So
like I kind of, because we talked about this in our original call, where you know, we had the whole thing, and at the end you were like, okay, awful part, money. And I was like, okay, so like here's where I'm at, here's what I think I could do. This is like so I had a really nice internship. I was in the nice position of being able to like potentially hit the highest tier. And then you and I talked about it, and I ended up going at a lower one. But you know, I'm socking away little money in the piggy bank for doing a later thing at some point, definitely after I graduate school, because that's a nice financial nice time. But it's always felt more like here's a fair market price for what I'm offering, and like here are the suggested donations if you are not a person earning $60,000 a year with like a nice house and in the US where the exchange rate is.
Yeah, I'm very aware of those, because I'm like, oh, and I remember someone joined from Thailand like within the last year or so, and that was just really exciting. We got people from all over the world, and then I know I've had several clients say that even the 1,500 is real low for what the program is. Yeah.
Yeah. If you were not catering to the audience you are catering to, you would be able to probably charge that yearly.
Yeah.
Thing. But I would say for like anyone that's like, this looks really useful, but like I want to do it, but money, just scheduling a consultation call and then having a chat about it there, because we, the participants, have no idea how much you paid to get into this course. You all now know that I could have maybe done the 1,500, but like nobody knows Cassie is like one of the most wonderful human beings on the planet. So like if this course is the difference between you feeling like you are able to hold down a job, be it part-time or not, I don't want to put words in Cassie's mouth, but I think she'd rather you have the part-time job. So.
Yeah. I want everyone to have the tools they need to succeed and survive, because I know how desperately I needed them and they weren't available to me. And so, and that's also why it's lifetime access. So, like, you can pick what's right for you. Yeah. Let's see. Going back to my list, we talked about so many things, and my brain cell flew out of my head for a hot second. So what have you noticed long term? Because you've now been with me for, I'm gonna go double check when we first met, but
I think August 24th was when I scheduled the consultation call, and I think I started November 3rd.
Yep. I feel like I've known you so much longer than that.
I'm your best friend now. It's fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because my husband's from like a similar area to where you're from. I'm already like, hey, when I come visit his people, can I come visit you?
Of course. Yeah. I remember Shay, who's my assistant, but was originally a student of this program. I got to actually see them in person a year ago in their hometown. And so far, they're the only person in the community that I met in person.
No, I'm gonna make that happen.
It was so exciting. I'm so excited. Yes. And just as a friendly reminder, I'm 5'11". I am a large person. So anybody who thinks you can't tell height from YouTube, right?
No. I am not that height.
Right. I'm a mama bear.
That's awesome. You probably give really good hugs. If you're a hugger, I really hope
I am definitely a hugger. Yeah.
Not that like hugging and not hugging is morally neutral, but
yeah. So long term, because now you've been with the program for like almost 4 months.
This is the first semester where I'm just so I have no supervision. My advisor's on maternity leave. This is the first semester. Like no, so what is it? My advisor's on maternity leave. She's lovely and checks in like once a month, and I'm like, I'm fine. I'm fine. Go raise your child. The other professor in the department that is like a member of my committee moved. So, and then like everybody else that I like knew at work has like either graduated or long drama, but basically like they are not people I wish to know anymore. So I'm in a semester with like very little academic support, very little oversight. And historically I would have just been like, do all the things. I'm a failure. Why can't I do all the but I want to. Oh, yo. And I'd come to the end of a day, like for instance, today, where like my big accomplishment is finishing some grading and doing literally nothing else, including like completely having forgotten that we need food. And I'm just like, cool. I'm safe. I am not a terrible person. I just did the thing. Or I didn't do the thing. Or I like clearly needed care that I have not been giving myself. And I knew this would happen. And I chose this anyway because I really want to finish my thesis. And that's okay. It's the first semester where I have not had like a mental breakdown almost over like how little or how much I'm doing. It's one of the first semesters where I'm actually on top of housework instead of overworking my like it's I'll take it back. I am not overwhelmed by house stuff anymore because my partner is also in graduate school, but he has a much worse commute than I do. And I, by virtue of the fact that I have no supervision, can be home most of the time. And historically, he would like get home and be just like, there's no food. And I'd be like, I can't think about anything. And now, like, I'll call him up and be like, I'm a little overwhelmed, mac and cheese. And he's like, yep. And he comes home and all's well. And like, I'm fine.
I'm so proud of you.
Not me. And I can also look at things now and be like, my gut says that's bad. I will stop doing that. And like, since found out that I don't have generalized anxiety disorder, I just have inherited my mom's mild depression. And I'm a perfectionist, which is like, apparently that has followed me my whole life. But I thought that like, because I can write something and be like, this is now good enough, that I wasn't a perfectionist. No. I am. Yeah. I'm in recovery. What else? I don't know, there's just more peace.
Yay.
I'm like, I have to find jobs. And I'm not stressed about it because I'm just like, that will come when it comes. And that's not, I have too many projects on my plate already. So that will be later. And it works.
Awesome.
It's like,
was there anything you weren't expecting that ended up happening?
I was hoping for the piece. I was very pleasantly surprised that it came. What wasn't I expecting? Decisions are morally neutral. So I had this internship at this place that is like a big deal. And I was trying to apply for stuff to it. And I was watching module 4 where you like mention off like if decisions are morally neutral. I was like, what? Brought me to tears. I was like, you mean I don't have to work at this place if I don't want to? Like it's a big enough deal that I was just like, if they offer me a job, like I need to take it. Like, it's a wonderful place to work. I just don't want to move there. So like if I could work there from here, but moving there, and I was just like, wait, I could just do what I want as long as it's not hurting anybody.
Mm-hmm.
What?
Yeah, that sentence, that one right there is like one that I think a lot of us like logically get, but to get to the point where it like hits you, where it means something.
Yeah. And I think you have a way of saying it where it means something every time. Like, oh, like the other thing I wasn't expecting was like the yay, Chris!
Yay!
Best decisions that you've made for yourself. I don't know anything about you, but yay!
All right. Sorry if I disappeared for a second. I was trying to put an emoji in the chat, but it brought up my Windows lock screen. Keyboard shortcuts are confusing.
The other thing that like really, really helped, so I'm like gone at this internship. I haven't been at home, therefore not really interacting with my partner as much for like 3 months, and I come back and we fell into all of our like old habits. And like is this a parenting moment or a partnering moment? Another doozy where it's just like, wow, like it's very difficult to find a person that is capable of helping you without judging. Or like feeling like you're judged. And I think because like the show up messy, I should have like gotten this. I bought myself like a really big notebook and like I haven't known how to fill it, but the show up messy like inspired me. I'm right-handed. I colored it all in with like my left hand, and it's the messiest nonsense
I love it
ever. I'll send it to you because I think you were off that week, so you hadn't seen it. But like,
I know.
so messy, and I'm so proud of it. And I like,
oh my god!
But it's all left-handed because I was trying to make it show up messy with my right hand, and then I was like, wait, this is so ironic. Like, no, left hand, messy. Yeah, something's better if you just do it. It doesn't have to be perfect. I don't know. There's so many like small things where like I feel like just because it's a community, it's constantly being reinforced. We're reinforcing it for each other, even if you're not interacting. I'm not a shy person, but like even if you're not interacting, just seeing how supportive people are is, I think, really helpful in modifying your own self-talk.
Yeah.
Discovery call definition.
Yes. So a discovery call is scheduled as like a 20-minute call, but when like we hit it off, it becomes a friend call as well. So like
it was like a 40-minute call.
I know. So myself and Shay always have a buffer before and after for it to go longer. But it's a way to meet myself and Shay, and then I am training my assistant Shay to take over these calls so I can in theory, host more workshopping calls inside the program as more students join. But Shay is very much like me. So if you like me, you will like Shay. They are amazing. I adore them so much. And it's just a way to confirm two important things. Am I the right person to help you? Like, is my program the thing that's going to help you? And then the other thing, will you be someone who contributes to the safety of the community? And that's really all the discovery calls are. It's getting to know each other and seeing if I'm the right fit. And the safety thing is just because we have a lot of people from marginalized communities in our Discord community. And I want to make sure that there's never, ever going to be risk of hate or cruelty or abuse inside my community. And so far, just that list of values I post when you sign up for a discovery call does the trick. So like, I wouldn't worry about that.
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can get anxious about it. That's fine. But like, it's not an interview. It's kind of just like we good? We good.
Yeah, we good. We good. That's basically what it is. That is the best description I've ever heard of what it is. Yeah. So yes, basically that's how it goes. And then we discuss the sliding scale, and you tell me where on it you fall. And then I give you the payment link to sign up. That's what the discovery calls are. So yeah, thank you for asking that question. It's a very good question. And yay, Avery, I'm so glad you signed up for one. Yay. I think we're hoping sometime between January and April, Shay will be taking over the calls 100%. And then we're also wondering if there's like a way to have like a group call, like once a month, if you just want to talk to me for a hot second in maybe a small group format to just feel a little bit safer about it. We're looking into that. All right, it's all on Zoom. So when you schedule a discovery call, Acuity, the Acuity link I just dropped in, that's how you schedule it. And it's the only issue is time zones. But if you're in the UK, there's usually times that are just like 8 or 9 p.m. for you, so it's not too bad. And then they happen on Zoom. Good question. Let's see.
I will say like the one, because I've been like telling my husband has like kind of watched over my shoulder, and I like went home for Thanksgiving, and like showed my mom sort of what the stuff is, because we talk about these kinds of things and like what we've been working on with like self-development and stuff, and I like showed her. She's like, I'm really glad that this level of detail works for you. Like, tell me the direction I need to go in and I'll go there. So whereas I'm like, this is how you think about it. Here's a definition. Here's a toolbox. Here's how to here's the mindset you want to be having in this situation. Check, 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 check. And like, you can definitely use it without that, right? So like, you could just watch it and be like, what was most important to me from this? So like the first one, the part that I liked most was the Swiss Alps. Okay, how can I? And then you be free. Like nobody's watching how well you're following the dictates.
Yeah,
it's just all there as like a giant dictionary and wonderful like toolbox of stuff. But my mom looked at it and she's like, this is too much detail. But like, we'd also just finished talking about how like, this is when I turned her on to like one of those book summarizing services, and she was like, there has this been on my mind. That's my mother. If you're like my mother, this might not be for you.
Well, see, that's the cool thing, because like one of the biggest questions that I get when someone first joins the program is like, how do I apply this stuff? And it's not like there isn't homework. It's just me teaching you literal tools, and I make it easily referenceable after the fact. There's a literal Notion database of all the tools and terms that you learn that's easily referenced after the fact. So you don't have to go hunting through the module videos to find them. But it's about filling up your tool chest so you can be like that dad in the neighborhood that has a tool for everything. So you have this really bizarre specific problem. He's got a tool for that. That's what the toolbox is. And then in your life, when you're like, oh, I'm having this problem, I have a tool for that. That's how you start integrating it. So it's not about using every tool every day. I don't do that. That's exhausting. It's more about finding the ones that resonate the most with you, and creating systems so that they are available to you if and when you need them.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Last question. What would you tell someone who is considering investing in the Action Navigator and joining the program?
It seems like most of the people here have already joined.
Or schedule a call.
Continue. Yeah. Andrea just pointed out a good thing about the Discord, but like, yeah, a discovery call is 20 to 40 minutes of your life. If it's taken 40 minutes, it's probably because you really like Cassie and or Shay, and this will help you. If it's not, it's 20 minutes of your life and you walk away and you're just like, I tried a thing. So yeah, I say, like I said, the course is exactly what it says on the tin. The impact it will have on you depends on your own personal circumstances and what you're going through. But I think like the most valuable thing about it is the way in which it helps you help yourself. This is a course that's not for like, if you follow all of these steps exactly, you will have the perfect life. And you will not, if you stop doing social media, you will like fix all of your problems. And if you like, use this specific bottle, it will fix all of your issues. No,
Vitamin Vegemin.
do all the things the right way. Cassie's just like, here's a tool that can work. Here's a tool that can help you diagnose what tool will work. Here is a tool that will blah, blah, blah. And then Andrea pointed out that like, if somebody is like, I can't anything, somebody else is like, okay, do you need, what's going on? What's helping? What's hurting? It's a course to build your self-trust and understanding of yourself so that you don't need Cassie, but you always have Cassie because it's lifetime.
Yep.
And if you don't want to have Cassie, there's all of the rest of us who are like, almost as cool as Cassie.
Y'all are awesome. I don't know how this happened. Like when I first started doing this coaching, I didn't intend to build community with it. That was just something that I noticed is like, hey, should we all have a Discord to talk to each other on? Right? It was just like such a casual decision years ago. And it has become something so beautiful that like when I have to take like some time off, I actually get a little sad. And then I come back and I'm like, yay, it's my people. I love it here.
Yeah. I have a therapist that like can't treat me. It's all online, but like can't treat me when I leave the state that I live in that he's licensed in. And I'm going to see my in-laws very much out of state. And I was just like, I won't have therapy. I'll have Cassie because Cassie isn't bound by law. And like everybody else, but like just there's the once a week coaching call, there's the once a week weekly reset that Shay will be taking over soon, but like Shay is awesome. And I don't get to talk to Shay enough as it is. And that's just like, and then every once a month there's like the building your system call, and those are wonderful weeks because you get like a little bit of a dose often enough that it's just like, okay, no, I'm okay. I will keep going. I can do the things. There's one more thing that I had.
It'll come back.
I know. But it was there.
Opportunity to sip water for anyone who has water nearby.
Dude, I've got like gone through the whole bottle. What was the question?
What would you say to someone who's thinking about this? So like people who are here live and who may be watching the recording of this in the future.
No, it was after that. You said something really cool.
If somebody else remembers, please drop it in the chat. This happens on workshopping calls for like, oh, the brain cell just floated away for a hot second.
I actually used what we say in an appointment the other day, and I was like, oh, it's finding parking. They were like, that's
so good.
So good.
That should be on the t-shirt list.
My thought is finding parking.
Yeah. Yeah.
Necessarily.
I'm gonna go do that right now.
Oh, taking breaks, leaving. I don't remember, but basically, like, it's really cool, and you should try it. It's 20 minutes of your life, and if you don't like it, you have done many worse things. Morally neutral, but you have done many worse things for 20 minutes. So this is
yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, I am online. I am digital.
Yeah, so therapists or like personal therapy. I remember now. Okay, personal therapy law. It's about the interaction between this course and therapy. So pin in it. Therapists have licensure by state. Cassie is a personal coach, which means that if you're looking for a personal coach, they're not bound by credentials. It's not like a system. Cassie has had various experience in the school of life and has been coaching people for a long time. Therefore, like, it's a 20-minute discovery call. So like, if you're not convinced by everything else, like, that's a good place to look. But therapists are like kind of required to pass exams and like do various things. So therapists might only be licensed in like one state of the United States. I have no idea about the rest of the world. And so if you are not physically in the state that therapist should be offering you or is licensed in, things can happen.
Right.
And like, it's all online, so who knows? But except for the pandemic. When I leave the state, if I leave the country, he can give me therapy. But when I go visit my parents, or like if I go with my husband to work down like 20 minutes, he can't offer me therapy. So the interaction between therapy and this course is like, I have taken things that I talk about in therapy and bring them here. I'm like, okay, now how do? Because I love my therapist, but my therapist is very good at being like, how do you feel about this? What do you want next? But if it's like, for the past week, if I don't want to just like analyze my thoughts, but if I want to be like, the past week, this thing has been happening and I can't figure out how to like make sure that I go for a walk every morning because I really want to. Cassie is like, okay, let's figure out where the shoes go. Let's like, what's the barrier? Do you need food before you go? Do you want to make a checklist? Is maybe expecting yourself to do an hour walk every morning too much? No. Right? So it's just things like that. Of this idea of mastering the moment is really, really helpful for actually doing that. And then there's calls where I'm just like, I'm really struggling with this thing that my partner is doing. And then Cassie's like, doozy. And then I go to therapy and I'm like, so this thing, I now have to re-examine my relationship with my entire family.
But in a good way, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's exhausting. It takes mental and emotional spoons to recontextualize your childhood. But then on the one end in therapy, I can like recontextualize the childhood, and then I can talk to family and recontextualize the childhood, and then you're there like, it's okay not to feel all these feelings all the time. And I'm like, all right, great. So the next thing I need to do is this. And then you're like, okay, let's find tools to do that. And like, I'm the helper in my friend group, but like the way you help is so amazing because there are no assumptions. Like, I feel like if you like go to a friend and you're like, my partner is like, blah, 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 they're like, drop him. Or like, you should be really mad because they're like taking your side. And you're just like, and a therapist might be like, so how do you feel about that? And then you're just like, okay, what do you want to accomplish? Anyway, so like I'm working on that in life, but like anyway, intersection good. If you are wondering, schedule a call. All the things, all the good things.
Sweet. Oh, thank you so much for spending this time with me. It means the world to me. And thank you, everyone who is here live. If there are any more questions, either for me or Maria, feel free to drop them in the chat.
Also, like, because the whole community is aware that society's expectations are bogus, because it's not that all of us are neurodivergent or that all of us are chronically ill or that all of us have blank or disabled or whatever, because I don't count in a lot of those categories, but there are resources. So like there are things that I have found here that I would never think of finding anywhere else. So like this magical creature, or like my timer, or do I have that? No. And then we can like just share that. So it's not just like support, but it's also like, I found this chair that does the thing. So that's also cool. All right, that's all. I'll stop talking.
Awesome. Oh, thank you so much. It looks like there aren't any more things in the chat, so I'll start wrapping up. This has been so fun. And for those of you who are like, where have you been, Cassie? There are videos coming explaining where I've been. And just know that like I spend all of my spoons on this program. So the people who are paying for me to support them, when I am burnt out, that's where it all goes. And that's why I've been MIA on YouTube and social media. But thanks to the help of my assistant, Shay, I'm going to start getting back to YouTube, hence why we are here. And
I thought it was just going to talk to me for an hour.
It's fun.
No,
it's fun.
For an hour, but we can say it's for the YouTube.
We can say it's for the YouTube. We're just hanging out. All right. So, Kira, you said you forgot to put the time in your calendar, so you'll watch the replay. If that's I'm not sure what your question is, but I'm happy to answer your question.
In like 2 minutes ago.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, the replay will be up sometime, hopefully by Monday. But I think YouTube makes it immediately available.
The thing is, all of our workshopping calls are recorded. So when you're talking to Cassie and Cassie is dropping doozies and you can't process anything else, the recording goes up within like 72 hours, often much less. Then you can go back and be like, whoa. Because sometimes you'll suggest something in the moment. I'm just like, I don't know. No, that won't work. And then I go back and watch it. I'm like, oh, that's a really good idea.
Yeah, I can't remember things. I know, like, when I'm teaching a dance class, for example, it's often expected to do a recap at the very end. And I always get to that part and I'm like, what did we do today? I don't know. What do we do? I don't know. Someone tell me. Remind me.
Yeah. So what we talked about today is that Cassie's awesome. We talked about how workshopping calls and discovery calls go. It's not an interview. It's just a fun time. It's a vibe check.
Mm-hmm.
What else? This is a really good compliment for therapy. If you're on the fence, just schedule a discovery call because it's 20 minutes of your life. Or 40 if you really, really like Cassie or Shay. So like, not a bad thing. Community is awesome. Financial barrier should not be a barrier because it's more important that you get help. You deserve help. You deserve to succeed and do what you want to do and not have a Groundhog Day. That's okay. We probably said other things, but like
we probably did.
That's why it's recorded.
You did amazing. Can you be around for all my recaps?
Yeah.
Oh, Carrie, you are not the only one who struggles with cooking. Food is one of the biggest struggles in my life right now. Remembering choreo. Yep, that's a skill that sometimes leaves my brain.
I can remember it if I don't think about it. So like my brain has no clue what's going on. My body's like, okay.
Oh, thank you again. And thank you everyone who joined us live. This has been amazing. I will be back with more YouTube soon. Hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day or evening wherever you are, and talk to you soon. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.